Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Mockeries. Say hello, the Mockeries.
No mockeries.
Hello. Every
Oh,
time.
this is so brilliant. We return to the Mockeries in the town of Astrafeld. Last we left off, this band of unlikely allies made their way through the dungeon at Astrafeld to find the moonlight scythe called Form Splitter. There they saw these sort of wall paintings devoted to some depicting some ancient battle between the forces, something called the Host, and some other titanic beings, one wreathed in flames and the other in runes. Not quite clear what all of that is about as of yet. And the whole place was filled with memory echoes of people who had been there previously, some of whom were elves, some of whom were other adventurers and people who had come in. When the path split three ways, Theramin went down the left-hand side and saw his father desluggified, who had visited there in a body which a necromancer had created for him 300 years before so that he could walk the mortal plane. And so the two of them got to meet at that point. But time went wiggy out of sync again when he left the room. Down the middle path, Cloud... what did Cloud... Oh, Cloud talked to Madison.
Madison, not Maggie.
Maggie's the dragon.
Maggie's, yeah, I was reading my notes, that's why.
Talked to Madison, and Madison sort of told her as much as she could, and then headed off to meet again at some point down the line. And down the right-hand path, Thesia saw a memory echo of a meeting that took place between some of the Yuan-Ti Abomination head priestesses of the various tribes who reside in Drydia, who had gathered here, and the beginnings of a plan were being put in place to contest Malar's choosing of a champion, who was a lycanthrope. You guys also, when you exited those various places, ran into a half-elf with sort of very unusual, star constellation skin pattern on his left side and one white eye, called Brenial Amakir, who is revealed to be the oracle behind the mysterious disappearance or Madame Mad's inability to be able to find Cloud's people. He revealed that he invited them to an island called Needle off the coast of Gorendia, where he will help them to get off the planet and find a home for them in exchange for them reforging for him something called the Mask of Tortured Stone. He also asked that Cloud, being the only person who is capable of wielding and holding the Moonlight Scythe, to bring the scythe to Needle before heading on out. You guys found the scythe. The scythe is a haughty, somewhat entity, but with incredible powers. Exited the dungeon, chased off Zhen and the other werewolves, who revealed to you that he is, in fact, the champion of Malar. There is no contest. He is it. And then the fighting stopped. The dead were counted, 4 in total, and Humphrey Blaine went into the dungeon to check on the Moonlight Scythe, and you guys went back to the inn. That long recap done. You guys made it back. You guys have had a good night's sleep. You've had a long rest. Any spells that you have expended are back. Any hit points you have lost are back. It is the next morning. What do you do? Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed one part of this recap. You got a letter from inside Peter Engelhart's coat, which was yet to be delivered extortion letter to the Reeve of the town, with the symbol of a spider made of gold with emerald eyes, which is a symbol you recognize. Yes, indeed. So you got that to follow up on as well.
And I also recognized his jaw, didn't I?
Yeah, there was something familiar about him, and there was something specifically about his jaw you didn't quite place last time. After a night of sort of it percolating, if you would like to roll history,
I can do.
To try to place.
So I keep getting this wrong. Even though I'm not proficient in history, I add my modifier.
You add your intelligence modifier, not proficiency bonus.
I keep getting that wrong. I don't add anything. 8.
8. Yeah, 8. You still can't quite place where it is that you recognize this guy from.
To be fair, I think Cloud has other things on her mind anyway.
You do. As you, Cloud, wake up, you hear, you are done your highly ineffective, weakened state of sleep. I have been awaiting your awakening for some time now. This is Slither or Sliver, the moonlight scythe.
There's a controversy around that, isn't there?
Yeah, I didn't realize, for context last time, I didn't realize that slither is the colloquial English way of saying the word sliver. So either works, either or, it will.
And if all else fails, it's moon. Okay, I'm probably gonna ignore. Actually, no, I want to ask, how do I put this? Is there a way, Sliver, that you can just speak to me and not out loud?
You hear a voice in your mind go, "You mean like this?"
Exactly like this. There's some parts of what we might talk about I don't want the others to know yet. Would that be okay by you?
Secrets and conspiracies, of course. Honestly, this is kind of fun. I have not been very entertained for quite a long period of time. Yes is the answer to your question.
Thank you. Probably just go downstairs, wait for the others. I don't say anything else to Sliver. I just wondered whether you could do it.
Cool beans. Yes, Dylan is down here at this time, getting himself some breakfast. How late do the other two sleep in on a usual morning?
Oh, I think Thesia's probably like an early bird. Gets up. She's used to getting up really early, so it's still a little bit dark outside for hunting. If she needs to go out and get some food,
nice.
So I probably would have been down there already, just sitting in the dark corner.
I get waken up by Maggie, kind of nibbling at my nose and catching spiders, whatever else in the room.
Yeah, you see.
Maggie's up, I'm up.
You see Maggie, tiny little snort of flames burns the web of a spider and catches it as it falls into her mouth.
And then I go downstairs for my morning beer.
Wunderbar. Dylan is actually going to, just before everybody else is up, Dylan will be talking to Thesia in this will kind of come over to this dark corner and say, yes, Miss Thesia. I just wanted to let you know that before all the craziness happened last night, the idea of this meet and greet competition was going very, very well that you posited. I was selling for a very small amount of money, tickets for a chance to be drawn out of a hat and people to be picked to meet you guys. I've been told that the schedule for the rest of the day is going to look a little different than we had thought due to the fact that people have died in town. So I just wanted to slip that in. And honestly, Thesia, I just wanted to say this while we had a private moment. You stuck up for me with the others the last time they were saying things to me, and I wouldn't usually have the confidence to say this, but thank you for that. I'm not used to people sticking up for me. Actually means quite a lot.
Oh, didn't.
So, I just want you to know I'm very proud to manage this band. It's a great honor, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your friendship. All right, I'm gonna go away now.
Before he leaves, I was like, Dylan. Whatever money we've earned from the meet and greet, you selling tickets, you keep for yourself this time. You treat yourself to something nice. Maybe something nice to wear for the next gig. And then, yeah, okay.
That's thank you. Yeah, I'll do that. Also, I noticed that your armor has a little emblazoned M on it. Is that for Mockeries or?
Yes.
Oh, that's very cool indeed. I like it. I like the M symbol. It's great. All right. Okay. And he leaves.
So sweet.
The morning sort of happens. When you guys are all together, Dylan will sort of fill you in. You've got your beer, Theramin. So what Kirkwood is saying is that the Reeve has sort of arranged for there to be a funeral service for the people who have died. And a lot of the time today is going to be spent on furthering the defenses for the town in light of the lycanthrope attack. I think they're going to be members of the Gurendian National Army who are going to start dealing with this problem, because this is an attack on a scale that is not usual for the inside of Gurendia's borders. So Jen and those werewolf folk should be being dealt with by proper authorities and what have you. But I, on behalf of the band, suggested that we play something of an unusual gig for us, that we do the music at the funeral service for these 4 people who have died. Because I thought to myself, that would be a nice thing to do, and also feeds into our reputation of being just really fucking good people, which is doing really well for us. I know, but that's our reputation. Reputation you've garnered.
I think we should play at the funeral. It would be interesting, and it's completely my original idea. What do you guys think?
Yes, of course. I personally think that Theramin's idea is brilliant as always.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I don't think I should get the little dancing skeleton out. That might be a bit bad taste.
Slightly inappropriate.
Yeah, I'll keep that one
no.
away.
It's a good judgment call right there. Cool beans. So you guys I have one question that I just need to get out of the way before anything else happens. When you were buying armor and what have you, Cloud, did you spend any of the 1,000 gold that you got
No.
from the bank? Gotcha. All good.
I'm really hesitant to use it because I'm wondering whether it's marked. So
I just needed to know whether you spent any of it.
not yet, no. Still deciding.
Okay. I throw it back over to you guys. There's the rest of the morning past it's after lunch, sort of around 2 is when this funeral service is going to be held. And then after that, I think everybody's going to be down for more of a rock and roll thing later in the evening. So that's still on, basically. But you guys know that later in the evening is actually sort of a band off between you guys and a couple of other bands who are in town. So there's sort of a competitive nature to that down the line at the end of the day.
Sabotage? Anyone?
Well, I was wondering whether we should give this letter to the Reeve, but she might have other things preoccupying her mind. I know, what do you guys think?
I think that would be a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they're all attending the funeral,
it's a good opportunity for an attack. If they're all together.
Cool beans.
Josh,
yes.
I do have a question, if I may ask.
Yes.
Prestidigitation.
Yes.
I can make a small mark or symbol because I've been seeing the spider symbol. Could I replicate that on something else if I wanted to?
Yes, you could.
I'll keep that in mind.
I will keep that in mind. It's not difficult to ascertain the location of Otilg, the town Reeve, if you guys want to go and pay her a visit. It's actually a very simple abode. It's not particularly any fancier or richer than anybody else's in town. But when you, I assume, knock at the door,
Just kick it down.
and she'll answer her own door. This very hunched over sort of elf who looks very, very old, which is again very unusual for an elf to allow themselves to look this way. And this old elven woman looks up at you. Ah, hello. Looks at you, Cloud.
Hello.
Would you all like to come in?
Probably would be best for what we need to talk about.
Come. Goes very, very slowly inside.
While I walk in, can I speak to them and ask whether this was the elf? So can I say, is this the elf that tried to use or willed you before?
Ah, yes. Otilg was one of the many beings responsible for my creation 600 years ago. She was one of the only ones who truly understood my destiny to not lie with the elvish people. Lindara and Aust Rothanel they are the kings and queens of various nations, and wanted to use me for their own purposes, but I am not for them. Ha ha!
So she can be trusted.
I mean, sure.
Okay. Very helpful, thank you.
Hobbles in. There's like a classic old person's living room with very comfortable lived-in sort of couches and armchairs. There's a tea table as she goes and like starts making tea for you guys. Says, sit down. It's good to have guests. Yes, of course it is. And anybody who's watching, as she starts to make tea, will just start, and little parts of the tea. She does a lot of it by hand, but little parts of the tea making will be done just magically. Little sugar cubes bopping along in the air on their own and stuff like that.
Higgledy piggledy poggedy poggedy. Like in, sorry, you probably don't get the reference.
Yeah. It's a good reference. Somebody called Madam Mim the other day, and I was like, solid this reference. Best part of that film by far. Anyway. So, what is it that you wanted to talk to me about?
We were... You can see Cloud trying to think of the words to say to her without implicating anybody. We were at the Standing Stones last night before everything went down, and we found a letter outlining a couple of threats on people's lives in this town, and I will present the letter to her.
She'll read this and see the symbol and kind of fold it up and kind of go, well, thank you for delivering this to me. Do you know who it was who was going to give this to me?
Yeah, his name's Peter.
Cloud will just sit there like completely silent. Yeah, it's Peter.
This wouldn't happen to be Peter Lagazi, would it?
That's not the last name we heard.
Oh.
That's not the last name we heard.
Because I, very long time ago, knew a Peter Lagazi who might do something like this, goes by this symbol. Maybe he's taken a different name now.
Yes, Engelhart.
I've never heard of a Peter Engelhart. To be fair, though, my memory is I run this town, but the last time I was sort of up to date with the various nobility and things was, I don't know, 400 years ago. I got tired of following them all. The humans, they kept dying and replacing themselves.
He had a I don't want to say maid, but
You could say
girl
maid.
with him. I can't. I'm trying to read my notes and find the name, and I don't know whether I wrote it down.
The name is Marta.
Marta. He had a girl called Marta with him. She seemed like a little bit of a bumbling fool at times, but I think there might be more to her than that.
Well, there is usually more to servants than the nobility give them credit for, but I have never heard of a Marta. So maybe it's a completely different man.
Did your Peter have a sword which glowed? Part of military.
I mean, Peter Lagazi was a military man.
He said that he hadn't been in the military for a while, that he was almost retired. So it could be he's going by a different name now.
If he's going by a different name, he's probably not human. That was 400 years ago, the person I knew. So, but the Peter Lagazi I knew was human. So I imagine it's somebody else.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to ask my noggin then if Peter Lagazi rings a bell, and you'll just see Cloud kind of space out, maybe a little bit, just go.
You're gonna ask. You're asking Sliver if
Yeah.
Lagazi.
But I'm gonna.
I have never heard of any Lagazi thing. I have been inside of a dungeon since the moment I was created, and refused the hands of my creators from wielding me. I do not know any nobles or politicians or soldiers or maids or bricklayers or messengers or ostlers.
Right. Okay. I just wondered whether it was a name that was passed down. That was all. That's all I was asking.
Thesia just like turns away from everybody and just gets the crystal ball out like really sneakily. Like just cuts it like this, like
while we're sitting in this woman's living room, at the back, see like.
Yeah,
you want to like
Theramin, the other two start spacing out, and
I'm frozen because I've never had to speak for the group like that before. I'm just kind of like, Maggie, what was saying?
You have a pseudo dragon. Oh, that's very lovely. Maggie seems to like Otilg.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, she's burning the hair off of my head. Very
yeah, while Tilg's distracted by Maggie, can I ask the crystal ball to show me Peter Lagazi?
You ask for Peter Lagazi, and Peter Engelhart, as you know him, shows up in the crystal ball.
whoop, whoop.
I finally say, you finally showed me something useful, and it just put it away.
As you say something useful, it goes cloudy.
I think I'm gonna like click the other guys, be like, guys, hello. So
just tongue just flicks like this.
We're in the middle of a conversation.
So this Mr. Lagazi, what was he like? Why did you say that the only person that would do something like this was him? Or that the spider thing was something associated to him? The
symbol of the spider, 224 years ago, the person who was mainly using the symbol of the spider was, of course, Lolth, goddess of chaos and the drow. But she was not the only person who was interested in using that particular symbol. The Lagazi family were one of the founding families of Garandia, noble household, who had a different design spider, had a gold and green sort of motif as opposed to the blacks and purples of Lolth. And that was their banner, that was their household. Way back when, they started to fall on harder financial times, and then Peter Lagazi was the noble in charge when the household was stripped of its titles, was stripped of its its noble status because they supplemented their income with criminal activity. Yes, but the Legazi household was, fell into ruin 400 years ago.
Mm.
So you can imagine my surprise seeing this note here.
Well,
What?
it may not be the same Peter, like you said, if he was human. It's a bit impossible.
What did you last hear of him? Did he run away, or what did you hear happen to him?
I wasn't paying particular attention. It was quite noteworthy. I think that he just sort of fell off the map. He retired from public life, and he wasn't arrested or anything, but he was no longer, his voice was no longer heard in the capital. And
So it's entirely possible he could have reinvented himself.
I suppose, but not as a great household or anything like that. And the Legazi household, as far as I know, has not been heard in Garandia since then. So,
While this is all going on as well, Cloud's never seen a cup of tea before, so she's very confused as to why this lady has given her hot brown water.
Yeah, same with Thesia. She's like, snakes tend not to like really like extreme temperatures, so she's just kind of looking at it, like goes to touch it and like just then kind of like flicks her tongue out at it, like don't know.
Is there anything I can do to help with your tea drinking experience? Do you want it to be cooler? Do you want it to?
I'll let it cool.
Maggie's gonna heat mine up, I think.
So it's like lava and bubbling.
Yeah, she will prestidigitation cool yours down, Thesia.
I still don't know how to drink it, so I'm like,
you just sip the cup. Yeah, you just sip the tea.
She like looks at her and just goes num num.
How's just sort of like holding her, like,
I've downed mine in one.
Yeah, Mr. Theramin, tea is not a shot. You understand? It's steeped leaves in water. It's meant to be savored. It's cleansing for the soul.
A little puff of like steam comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, I know.
Well, very good.
As soon as she mentions it's steep leaves, Cloud will put it down and be like, why would you steep leaves? You can eat them raw. Like, just to herself.
She says, well, obviously, if they're threatening the lives of people, what the thing to do will be to prepare what they want. It seems to be just money. And I'll let Humphrey Blaine know that this is going on, see what he suggests doing. But, and she looks at Cloud, I think after quite a long time, I will be retiring as Reeve of Astrafeld. Seems there's not a huge amount left for me to do here.
Can I roll an insight to see whether she's looking at my armband that I've got on? Whether she has...
Oh, she's clocked it.
Yeah. What am I doing? Oh.
Insight.
13.
Yeah, that's more than enough to tell that she has clocked the armband and knows exactly who you are in terms of what's happened this dungeon.
Just a quick question. Did we see on the other letter, the one that was threatening?
Yes.
We saw the same symbol, didn't we? So I'm going to turn to her and say, this isn't the first place we've come across this symbol. In Oddmore, they were threatening the mayor. So it with blackmail, so it might escalate. So whoever you want to take over as Reeve, you might want to warn them that this may escalate.
Well, that's why I'll let Humphrey know about this.
Could we potentially use you as bait?
What you want to take on potentially dangerous people? Are you prepared to do that kind of thing?
Well,
I'm more worried that at this funeral there might be some going-ons.
And we need to know who they are.
Right. Well, this has a pretty clear time. It's later tonight. Probably it'll be during the time when you guys will be performing. And it says to go out to this place. So I don't imagine if they're threatening to kill people that they will do so until I theoretically would not show up with the money.
The only thing is they might send scouts during the day. It's a big funeral, lots of people. They would go unnoticed.
Just scouts to do what?
I don't know. Whatever scouts do. Scout out town layout. Where
have you dealt with terrorist threats before?
No,
I
don't come from this place.
No, that's very clear. Listen, if they want money, the best way to do that is to make it as transactional as possible. They're saying, give us this or we'll kill somebody. And if you don't do the one, then the other. But if they kill people, then it's clear that they are thugs. And there's nothing we can do to stop them killing people anyway.
Yeah, but if we give them the money, they could just take the money and then still kill people or ask you for money again.
Well, that's what they would do. Because if they took the money and then killed people, they would never get money again. You see.
True. But I'm not liking any of these options, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is why alerting authorities is a really good idea. But if you're talking about fighting these people.
Not necessarily. Just
maybe intimidating.
Yeah.
To stop them.
Well, all I will say is if you're going to do that, confer with the inspector and see what he thinks is best to do, because I don't want anybody to be hurt. These people on this list are all pillars of the community. Kirk, while he's a bit rough around the edges, runs basically the the center of town, the center of all, the
beer supply.
The beer supply, all the people who come in and out go through Kirk. Joanna is actually a very accomplished doctor who works at the Green Coven Hospital here in Astrofeld. And Talash is the local sheriff and a social worker. She works a lot with young people and people who are sort of down on their luck, who don't have places to live and things, helping them get back on their feet. So these are very good people. I don't want any one of them to be killed.
Well, should we make our way to see Humphrey then?
Mm.
I think that's probably a very good idea.
Okay, you guys go ahead. I've got some things I need to speak to the Reeve about.
Okay. Thanks, Matilda. I mean, not thanks. I don't thank you.
You could
take it back.
You don't have to take back your thanks. It doesn't cost you anything to attitude, young man.
I've gone.
He's gone.
Little, as a side note,
Mhm.
do you have thieves' can't as a rogue,
Mhm.
or was that in the back a certain background?
No,
No.
it's a rogue thing.
The
It
rogue
is a
thing.
I've seen some people role play Thieves Can't before, and it's absolutely hilarious, and I'm not prepared to do that.
No. It wasn't that. It was more thinking on the
No.
lines of if they're working underground, you have a way of getting in there with thieves can't.
I don't
And
remember what it is. It's
It's
certain
the
language,
language.
isn't it?
It's just a made up gibberish language that thieves use in like underground markets and stuff, and to recognize each other. So I mean, if they're doing it on the sly, you can, in theory, probably track down someone who knows about it.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. I was just asking.
I'll keep an eye out.
Right, I'm going to bugger off with Theramin.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Yes, you guys exit. Let's do this a little bit with Cloud, and then we will go on. So, are they as difficult to deal with as they were all the way back then?
A little bit, yeah. I was going to ask you if you've any got tips or tricks, because they're being a bit. Well, I described him as as uppity when I first.
Hello, Sliver. By the way, so he goes. Yes.
I'll ask him to transform into the scythe in front of her.
Hello! Moonlight fills the building. It shines out of all the windows. I am out of my dungeon at last. My destiny will be fulfilled, and I will be joined with the other artifacts to which I am meant to be bound. So he goes, yes, hello once again. It was a pleasure to work on you and to help bring you into creation. And I've sort of been keeping an eye out ever since, really. The idea being that I would report back to the Queen of Thorgrove and the King of Rothanel should something like this happen. Somebody claim the scythe. I am not claimed. I am on a journey. I am going somewhere, and this cloud is being very helpful because I do not have legs.
It's right. We have a nickname for them when they start doing stuff like this, don't we?
No, you don't. I do not have a nickname. I am Form Splitter the Mighty. I am Moonlight Scythe of the Numina.
Yes, you're Moon, aren't you?
No. Turns back into an armband.
Yeah, thought as much. They've indicated to me a couple of things that they can do. I was just wondering whether you knew anything as you were part of the creation. I know about being able to sever contracts. Werewolves are very, very vulnerable. I just wondered whether there was anything else.
The Form Splitter scythe was created with the intention of being able to do many of those things which have passed into legend. The former queen of Dridia was also part of this forging of the scythe. Her name was Yarla Zal. She was killed by Lulth when Lolth took physical form and replaced with the current queen of Dridia, Elena Orilael. But Jarla Zal, Lindara, and Aust Rothanel, the kings and queens of the 3 elven kingdoms, got together because they saw a way of ending the threat of the Malar priesthood, as well as putting a sizable dent in the cult of Asmodeus within their territories. And so they created the scythe with that intent. However, I should tell you that the true purpose of the scythe's creation was not that. We were deceived.
I came across the murals, and from there I gathered there was more to the legends than what was being told. I touched one of them, and the mask, it moved. There were vines coming out of it.
What you saw are depictions of the final battle which claimed the life of the final 2 Esmerin gods. I think you know a little bit about them.
Yeah.
Erenor, the Sorcerer King, and his elder brother, Arceon. They, of the many enemies that the Esmerins faced, the ones they fought in the final battle were beings called the Celestial Host, the Numina and Hamir. Most don't remember those old stories. The Esmerin gods are long dead, and the Numina and Hamir, the celestial host, the host depicted in the stories, were also destroyed in that final clash. There was someone who came. I can't remember who they were. Somebody came and gave us the magics we needed in order to create the scythe and told us what it could be used for. And basically, we ended up doing someone's dirty work. I don't know who it was. And I've tried all kinds of things to get at those memories, and they are gone.
Does the name Brenial? Am I pronouncing that right?
That's fair enough. Brenial, yeah.
Brenial Amakir.
No, that doesn't ring any bells.
Okay.
For me. But again, I don't have any memory of who that person was. So your scythe has been forged for a purpose, and the somewhat legendary skills of the kings and queens of the elves, as well as myself, were employed to get the job done. We were basically doing somebody's dirty work.
Do you know the real purpose of the scythe?
If I had to guess, I would say that somebody is trying to bring the Numina and Hamir, bring the celestial host back from the dead.
Which is not something anybody wants.
Well, that in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. The Numina and Hamir fought against tyranny. They were sort of a force of nature. They were sort of a chaotic force that traveled from world to world. It's thanks to them that we have many hybrid races. Centaurs, satyrs, sphinxes, that kind of thing. They were not inherently good or evil. the greatest of their peoples were shapeshifters, but most of them perished in the old wars.
I'm just wondering, when you bring one legend back, opens a door for others to come through.
I would certainly hope that that's not the case.
So would I, but it's.
There have never been.
I want to take this with caution.
The Ismaran gods have again been gone for a very long time, and Sigalia's got its own deities, it's got its own systems in place. I wouldn't necessarily be worried about the return of any of those deities, but I don't know why anyone would want to bring back the Numina and Hamir. Why anyone would want to bring back the host.
That's what I'm curious about, even though that they were neither good nor bad, it doesn't sit right. Why bring back something that's been gone for so long?
If Peter Lagazi is the same Peter who is delivering threats now, it speaks to a very long outlook. You said this letter, well, obviously it hadn't been delivered to me yet. It's only addressed to the office of the Reeve. I think it might be possible that this letter was meant for the person who was going to fill this role after I was gone. In which case, this Peter might have feared that I would recognize him and be waiting for me to leave office before doing anything in this town. Some people who are very long-lived, Cloud, make plans which span a very long time. And it's not necessarily always clear why people do what they do if the catalyst for their motivations is so far in the past.
That's true.
In terms of your bringing the scythe to the island, as far as I'm concerned, the scythe is alive now and wishes to be rejoined with the other artifacts. And the Numina and Hamir are not necessarily an evil force in the universe. In fact, them helping to rid the universe of the Ismarans was a very positive thing indeed for everybody. I don't know about this Brenial character. Perhaps there's something malevolent about him, but my best bet is that bringing back the Numina and Hamir is actually could be a positive thing in the universe.
Do you know of a race of half-elves? I guess, do you know anything about other worlds? Have you seen?
My memory of the old worlds gets very fuzzy. Saigali has been cut off for a very long time. We recently re-established connection with a world called Volpikar, which used to be on the very outskirts of the old empire. This was 4 years ago. There was a great big kerfuffle about it. Some legendary heroes were sent over and did something called a god heist. In any case, they reformed the governments over there. The orcs have a new kingdom that's being established over on the world of Volpikar, but I've been cut off for a while. These are little bits that come to me. I'd be able to tell you a little bit.
Well, I believe he came from there. He was a half-elf with a constellation almost for half of his face. They were like stars with one white eye. I don't know whether that was just a him thing or a race thing?
I think there was something somebody said about the elves of Volpakar having night black skin with white flecks in it.
Mm,
So it could be a race thing from Volpakar,
right.
but nothing about the eye.
The one white eye.
They had normal eyes.
He is extremely powerful. It could be to do with his magic. But thank you for answering my questions.
I'm very glad to help in any way I can. And I hope very much that you find what you're looking for on your visit to this world. There is one piece of information which I have about Volpakar, which you might be interested to know.
Hmm.
There are others of your kind on Volpakar. Tabaxi, isn't it?
Yes.
Indeed. There's a famous one who got involved with this god heist who lived on an airship or something. There's some I can't remember the detail. He was like the first mate or the captain of a skyship on Volpakar. Apparently.
Fascinating. A ship that
Indeed.
can travel in the sky.
Indeed, we don't actually have those here yet.
No.
Do
you know this tabaxi's name?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Know that Sliver is in good hands. I will keep them safe.
Oh, I'm sure the opposite is more than likely to be the case.
Well, we're not getting on too great at the moment, so hopefully that will change.
Well, I hope so too. It doesn't look like she thinks that's likely.
No. Okay, well, I better catch up with the others, see what's happening with this letter, but maybe we'll see each other again.
Yes, maybe we will. I don't know where I'm going to retire to yet. I have to make some calls in some countries.
Somewhere nice and hot.
Well, maybe. So do I go down south to Rothenel first, or do I...
I'm going to let her just... I'm like, bye, because I have no idea where any of these places are. I'm new.
Indeed. You catch up with these guys. Actually, you know what? That was a long conversation. Theramin, Thesia, where are you guys headed?
Heading to where Humphrey is, if he has an office somewhere.
Cool. He'll be sharing the sheriff's office for the moment. So you go to the sheriff's. The sheriff is Joanna. No, that's the doctor. The sheriff is Talash, the half-orc. This half-orc woman who is one of the first half-orcs that you guys have actually seen. So she's got a greenish hue to her skin, short tusks, but very, very long brown hair in a long braid that goes down her back. She wears the sheriff's badge and jacket, and then Humphrey is there as well. Well, Talash, I think these guys might actually be here for me. We've had conversations in the past, and I swear, Talash looks a little bit like frustrated with him. He's like, I swear to God, after all this stuff is in place and people are going to be passing through here looking for Jen and stuff, I will get out of your jurisdiction and stop sharing your office. I swear it on my life. He'll sort of meet you out front and say, she's just a little prickly because I've been doing a lot of work here and I don't know that she doesn't blame me somewhat for the fact that a few people have died on my watch. So, what can I do you for?
There was a letter with a symbol on it, and it was threatening a couple of people's lives for money, and we thought we'd better let you know.
Where'd you find it?
By the standing stones.
Just on the ground?
Yeah, it was after all the kerfuffle with the wolves. Werewolves.
Okay, so it could be from anyone. Do you have it on you? We'll say that you could have gotten it back from so-and-so and have it with you. He'll look at it. He'll kind of go, I don't know what this symbol is. There's no name or anything. All right, well, the thing to do, well, I will be getting back in touch with my superiors, obviously, to recommend to them what I think we should do. But we're in the middle of cracking down on all these attackers and things. I say we round up some people and friggin' get these guys when they come to collect the money. What do you say?
It's very like, are we doing this by ourselves or are we getting help this time?
Oh, no, I'm saying I'll be there with a few guys. You, like...
We've got a gig.
Oh, you have a gig. Oh, well, then leave it to me. I'm sure Talash will be more than happy to be doing something proactive to protect the people of her place. And yeah, we have more than enough adventurers and things that we can commission as well. So people are looking for a fight after losing some people.
Don't take too many people because we want people to come to our gig as well. So just a few.
I just want to be very clear about what you're asking me to do. You want me to raise the odds that dangerous criminals will be able to kill townsfolk in order for you to have more people in the crowd.
When you put it like that, it doesn't sound great. But yes.
Well, I respect you for doubling down. However, there's no way in hell.
Oh dear.
Don't worry. If we're going to be sneaking, if we're going to be, doing a sting operation, better to be stealthy with some high grade people rather than let them know, tip them off before they're in the trap by having a lot of people. You understand? So
yeah,
we won't take that many people away from your gig, you selfish man. Okay, well, this is really good. Thank you for bringing this to me. I'm going to keep this so that we can analyze it. See if there's anything about the writing or anything like that. No, I'm going to keep this.
We've had bad luck with people and letters before. I don't know if it's...
What do you mean you've had bad luck with people and letters?
I don't know.
You've given evidence to police? You know about corrupt police?
No.
it wasn't a policeman.
If you know anything about corrupt policemen, that's a really big deal, and I need to know about that. Okay.
He keeps losing letters is what he meant. We give it to him and he loses them. So he doesn't trust anyone else with them.
Fair enough. Okay, so this is evidence. It's going back to the Capitol so that we can get people to look at it, right? And we'll put together this sting. You guys... I'll be at the funeral service, so I'm looking forward to hearing you guys play then. And then obviously I'll miss you guys in the evening, but I'll get to hear this afternoon. I think it's very classy that you are doing that at the funeral. Although now I'm starting to think maybe you're doing it to appear classy. Looks at Theramin.
Just nudging Theramin, like, just laugh it off.
So he will pocket that as Cloud turns up and kind of go like, all right, I have some calls to make. I will see you at the funeral. Oh, before I go, you guys should know that the form splitter scythe is gone.
Is it?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
I'm gonna need everybody to give me a deception check with that kind of reaction.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I had no idea.
It's crazy.
What, the side? Oh man. Oh.
Natural
Plus-
one.
Oh, I got 19.
I got that one, but technically it's a
So
plus
did I.
5.
You
What
got
did you get?
I got a natural one with a +1, so that's a 2.
I got a natural one with a 5.
Oh god.
So that's a 5.
one in the name. I'm sorry, what did you get, Theramin?
I got 15 plus 4, so I got 19.
Okay.
I was the least convincing of anyway.
You were you kind of make up for it in this moment. But look at these other two. Oh, you guys are saying out loud, oh really? Wow, what a surprise. Crazy.
I'm the idiot. I don't understand.
I don't understand. +4 charisma.
Wait, is Cloud isn't even there?
No, I am.
Cloud's
She's just joined
arrived.
us.
Just
Oh,
I've
sorry.
just joined you at that and gone, oh no, what a shame.
Okay. Okay. Great. I'll see you at the funeral, and he will leave.
Okay. I think we may have
Think
we need to be a
guys.
bit more careful next time. Right, guys, let's practice our shocked face.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, please consider giving us a like, giving us a comment, subscribing, doing all of the fiddly little YouTube bits, as well as hitting us up on social media. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram. We've got all these things that we would love to discuss these ongoing stories with you, and just have a conversation, be part of the community. We would love that. Do it, please, or not. Be your own person, but do what I say.